Joining me now to weigh in is South Carolina Congressman Ralph Norman, along with Texas Congressman Pat Fallon. Gentlemen, welcome. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to you both. Congressman Norman, China is responding by threatening to retaliate against the United States. According to the Associated Press, China's foreign ministry spokesman said, quote, "Without being invited, American politicians keep hyping the so-called diplomatic boycott. If the U.S. is bent on going its own way, China will take countermeasures." Congressman, the question to you is a diplomatic boycott enough? Why not hold back the totality of U.S. participation? Why would America want to validate these inhuman communists?
Chris, two things. One, if it were Donald Trump, they'd never be saying that because they couldn't get by with that. You couldn't threaten a leader such as President Trump was. Secondly, with this administration, they feel emboldened to threaten this. And get this for your audience. Look at the other serious things that China is doing with the hypersonic missile, with what they're doing with Taiwan, with what they did to the Uyghurs, with what they do to the people in general. And here they are, they just feel emboldened because they don't think this president will do anything. And I don't know, it'll be interesting what he does, but probably it'll just be words, and then he'll probably succumb and go there. I don't know. I hope he doesn't. The whole thing should be shelved.
Well, his entire administration is full of a bunch of folks who don't put America first. We all know that. Congressman Fallon, new reports allege that China is pushing to build an Atlantic military base. This follows another report alleging that China has been secretly hiding missiles in shipping containers that can be unleashed to their enemies in ports. Meantime, the United States military is focusing, courtesy of these socialist Democrats, on critical race theory and becoming woke. Comment, if you will, on China and Team Biden. The wrong people, Team Biden, at the wrong time to counter a rising enemy, no?
No, Chris, you're absolutely right. China is the preeminent threat to the United States and, quite frankly, to freedom along the, in the world. They are very excited, the Chinese, that they were able to get a base in Djibouti, and they have a foothold, and a lot of the shipping lanes go through that area to get to the Suez Canal. And now they want to place a base, maybe perhaps on the Atlantic coast in Equatorial Guinea. And we absolutely have to do everything we can to stop that, because that's getting to be danger close to an infringement on the Monroe Doctrine, which has been United States policy for 2 centuries. And they've just shown time and again, as my good friend Ralph Norman just pointed out, that China cannot be trusted. They're very aggressive. They suppress their own people, and they have no legitimacy to rule their own country.
Yeah, and sadly, your counterparts on the other side of the aisle show no willingness whatsoever. From the White House, the entire party seems to be hell-bent on allowing China to do whatever the hell it wants. I wanted to get you both to weigh in on New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio imposing the nation's first vaccine mandate on the private sector. Mr. Biden has been getting pushback from nearly every court on this. Congressman Norman, what does this tell us about the nature of these extremists like de Blasio? Congressman Norman, you go first on this.
De Blasio is just an example of, he's a microcosm of this administration and what it believes. And he's on his way out. But when I saw that 5-year-olds to 11-year-olds were going to have the vaccine, it just shows you how dictatorial he is. I cannot believe that the citizens, the taxpayers of New York, are putting up with this. They shouldn't be. And it's just one of a long list of things that this man has done to the city of New York. And you never hear a peep about the fact that the people that are coming over illegally. I guess they're not going to New York City. They're being shipped to other parts of the country. You never hear a word about that. But he's imposing all these mandates on his people, and it's time just to kick back and say we're not doing it.
Yeah, we've actually heard some of the illegal aliens being transported to New York, and no talk of masking them or vaccinating them. Mr. Fallon, what do you think about this? This is, Comrade Bill de Blasio is a member in good standing, a prime example of what it is to be a socialist Democrat in this day and age, yes?
No, there's no doubt. And I call him King de Blasio because he's an absolute tyrant. And if you want to keep Americans safe, and that's the #1 job of Ralph Norman and myself and any other elected official in the country, particularly the President of the United States and the Commander-in-Chief, then Mr. Biden, secure the border. because the drug cartels are controlling our southern border right now. Nobody wants to talk about it in the mainstream media. That there was enough fentanyl, Chris, this year already seized 11,300 pounds to kill every American 8 times over. Last month alone, 15,600 pounds of methamphetamine was seized. And there's murders and there's rapes. And most of the people, unfortunately, that are victims to this are people of color along the border. It's one reason why in South Texas, the voters are overwhelmingly trending to the Republican Party. We just had a state rep, Ryan Guillen, switched over to the Republican Party, and President Trump won Zapata County, it's a border county, almost won Starr County, because people are fed up with it, and the people that live there know the truth.
Yeah, and de Blasio just opened up the first in the nation shooting galleries where junkies can take all of that meth that Biden is letting in across the border and shoot up with the state's permission and oversight, if you can believe it. It's absolutely insane. Congressman Norman, the FDA is requesting to prolong the release of data on the China virus vaccines, in particular from Pfizer, up to 55 years. Now, you've introduced legislation demanding they release the data within 100 days. Has any Democrat socialist backed your transparency bill?
Not at this point, but it's always, we're always open. There is no reason why in the world the FDA, which has close to 15,000 employees, is funded by the taxpayers, should not want to involuntarily release the information. They talk about when they mention 54 years, 55 years, what an insult. I think they've heard of scanning. I think they've heard of email, and I don't care if it's 900,000 pages. They should be able to do it. It's just you wonder where they're getting their dictate to do this. It's got to come from the administration. And this is the kind of thing that Pat and I and others are fighting. It's been it's not just this, it's just a cover up from day one on everything with the COVID vaccine. And you know the questions that people have about it, the long-term effects. Why not release the information? And for us, for the medical profession, have to sue them to get information that they're entitled to anyway is really, it's a slap in the face to every American.
All right. One more question here for you, Mr. Fallon. Before we go, a tribute, and lots of tributes continue to pour in for former Senator Bob Dole, who passed away at the age of 98 yesterday. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, thank you for bringing Senator Dole up. He was an American hero. And not only did he serve this country in the Senate, but he also served in uniform in World War II. In April of 1945, he was shot, or actually the shell hit him and they left him for dead. But he not only survived, he thrived. And he served this country for almost a full century. And what we need to know about him is selfless manner. In 1996, he was told about a month out that he couldn't possibly win the election. He was too far behind. And so he said, you know what, we're going to funnel as much money as we can. We're going to channel it to our Senate candidates, and I'm going to just go out there and continue to have us, work as hard as I can. And while he didn't win, the Republicans not only held the Senate, but they gained 2 seats. And that, in a nutshell, is who Bob Dole was, always putting others and his country before himself.
Yep, and as we started in our preamble tonight, leadership, and there's a prime example. Congressman Ralph Norman and Congressman Pat Fallon, Merry Christmas to you both, and we'll talk again soon, gentlemen. Thank you.